At 86, frail, and battling health problems that would break most men, Paul Hogan just picked up the phone and called the ex-wife he hasn't spoken to in years. Not for romance, for something far more urgent. And what pushed him to make that call is the part of this story nobody saw coming. He once said failed marriages are the ones where two people stay together long after they've stopped caring. So why is Hogan still talking about Linda Kozlowski like she's unfinished business? They were an accidental Hollywood couple, born out of a movie set. 23 years, married, one son, one of the messiest public divorces Australia has watched play out. And yet decades later, Hogan is the one picking up the phone to call her, not for romance, for something far more urgent. In 1985, Paul Hogan was 45 and tired of being famous only in Australia. He co-wrote a film about a rugged bushman, put his own money behind it, and cast a 27-year-old Juilliard-trained actress named Linda Kozlowski as the American journalist who falls for him on screen. He was still married at the time, to his wife of nearly 3 decades, Noeline. But something between Hogan and his co-star stopped feeling like acting fairly quickly, and people on set noticed before either of them said a word. Crocodile Dundee became a phenomenon in 1986, and Hogan became a global star almost overnight. Back home, his marriage collapsed in full public view, and he filed for divorce that same year. 4 years later, in 1990, he married Kozlowski. To fans, it looked like fate. What got left out of that fairy tale framing was that this new marriage had been built directly on top of one that had just been torn down. Kozlowski leaned into the role for a while, co-starring in 2 more Dundee films, but she trained at Juilliard and performed on Broadway. She wanted craft, not just fame, and Hollywood kept offering her the girlfriend part opposite whichever comic lead was cast that year. By 2001, she'd quietly stopped acting altogether. In 1998, at 40, she gave birth to their son, Chance, and said it made her happier than her last 2 film jobs combined. That part was real. But friends later described her feeling boxed into a domestic role she hadn't fully signed up for, her identity dissolving into simply being Hogan's wife. Hogan believed providing and staying loyal was the whole job. He wasn't wrong that he did those things. He was wrong about whether that was ever going to be enough. By 2013, something had to give. Kozlowski filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. She was 55, he was 74, their son was 15. The settlement told its own story. Hogan kept the Crocodile Dundee rights. Kozlowski walked away with a lump sum, no spousal support, and shared custody. There was no scandal buried in the paperwork, just 2 people who drifted apart quietly years before either said it out loud. After the divorce, Kozlowski split her time between LA and Morocco, built a travel company, remarried in 2017, and invested her settlement into Venice Beach property that quietly made her wealthy on her own terms. Hogan, meanwhile, spent years fighting a tax investigation that barred him from leaving Australia, and later faced serious health decline. A growth pressing on his kidney, steroid treatment that shrank his muscles, a pacemaker, and headlines about being wheeled through an airport. Then, this year, everything changed. Chance, now 27, has struggled publicly with mental health and addiction. In May, police were called to Hogan's home over a domestic disturbance. Chance was later arrested on a domestic battery charge. For Hogan, this wasn't something to laugh off. It was an 86-year-old father watching his last child at home unravel in real time. So he called Linda, not to reopen old wounds, but to get their son into treatment. Whatever distance remained after the divorce evaporated the moment their son needed them both. It was never about rekindling romance. Hogan has said as much himself, that loving someone deeply and staying married to them are sometimes 2 different things. What's pulling them back together now isn't nostalgia. It's two aging parents, an ocean apart, trying to save the one thing that survived their marriage when nothing else did. Was this marriage a failure, or did it simply run its course? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.